added a Deaf Studies minor because of when I was in a signing choir when I was 7 years old. Ever since then, I have been interested in sign language. I wanted to learn more sign language, so I took the first class, and I loved the language. I am so happy that I declared this minor because it taught me that sign language was much more than signing. I also learned about deaf culture. I learned about the unique and amazing culture that deaf people have. And most of all, I learned to talk with different people I didn't know how to talk to before. My Deaf Studies minor taught me many skills. It taught me better communication skills, gave me research experience, organization skills, and it demonstrates that I can learn a different language and can learn a unique skill. To complete this minor, I went to Deaf Labs. In the Deaf Labs, we practiced sign language, and I used sign language in many different activities. I also had sign language classes and deaf culture classes. I went to deaf community activities where I met and talked with many different deaf people who were from Cincinnati. And I completed some community service for the deaf when I helped with a deaf event called Signing Santa. Another component of the minor was completing one-on-one research where I interviewed deaf people. I interviewed an interpreter and the manager of community services for the deaf. I also helped plan Xavier Deaf Awareness Week activities to teach other students from Xavier about deaf culture and about sign language. I went to deaf community forums where we heard from the deaf community. We learned their life stories, learned about adverse experiences that they dealt with because of their deafness. I also went to sign language club events where I interacted with deaf people and interacted with other Deaf Studies minor students. Through the minor, I learned from a deaf professor and was able to understand instruction from this class even though it used a different language. And this helped me to practice signing. I also completed a social experiment called Project Deaf, where I experienced 3 hours deaf. Throughout this minor, I learned an entire new language, and I now know more than 1,000 words in sign language. I now know a language that many other people don't understand.